Okay, 1397, good luck. Not played before, no head-to-head score. 1,000 games, nearly 1100, very good. There's a countdown there just below the clock where you get to make your first move. I'm going to go c4. I normally go d4, but if you do d5, I can take. So I'm just going to go d3, knight up. Just aim for development. I'll probably go g3 and bishop this way, but I'm just going to logical development moves, get the knight bishops into play, get the king castle, then worry about what to do. Just click anywhere to clear the markings. Okay, knight up, so that's inviting a development move for the bishop. And knight up, g3, bishop g2. I could go e3 and bishop this way. Both perfectly logical. Do I want to drop back and invite the knight forward here? No, I'm going to take, then bring the knight up. Now e4 maybe. If I do e4, then obviously it brings a square up for the bishop, but I still kind of favour g3 and the bishop on the diagonal. Knight up is a potential. He's gone and pinned the knight. So I'm going to go g3. Pre-move in case takes. There is a threat though here. Actually, I might have moved too quickly there. Well, I've got a pre-move if he takes now, but e4 I've just missed. Okay. Do I drop the knight back here first one? It does kind of invite this thing, but here. Takes, e4. Knight back, queen takes. That's just a pawn. It's just a pawn. I'm just going to try and get castled. Pawn's still a pawn, but if I go a bit defensive, I'm kind of inviting black forward. Whereas obviously now I'm threatening just to castle and break the pin, but I'll still pre-move if takes here. It's probably a bad opening I've played here though. Right, castles. Now we've broken the pin. So we can go here now and remove the bishop, but can we put pressure on? Like a move like queen up first. Then there's a threat to win a piece. Queen up, knight down, I can take. Then I go forward. I could go here though, then if the knight moves, the rook hangs. And if you take here, I'm going to go with a pawn in any event, I think. Then I'm kind of still inviting this move. Knight across, takes. Whereas here I'm guarding. There's pros and cons both ways. I'm just going to go to b3 then. Pros and cons both ways. The knight down, I think I just take, pawn takes, knight up, and we hit two pieces, and that should win the game. So my opponent just needs to take a little bit of time to work these out. If takes, I've got the option either way. I'd probably still take with the pawn, and bring a pawn into the middle, and then just gradually try and push forward. Whereas if I was here, of course, the knight couldn't move because of the pin on the rook. But takes, pawn down was still a threat here with the queen here. I think it was anyway. I might have been mistaken there actually. So he's played knight there to head this off. But I can still play knight in now. If you take, I take and undermine the defense. I think my opponent's just blundered there. If you take, I take, and I'm attacking two pieces at the same time. And again, knight in, I just take back first. If you don't take, I'm attacking the queen and the bishop. So that could be the game. So it takes, so we take back, and we attack two at the same time. The logical knight in, I'm just going to simply take the knight, and we still attack the bishop. Again, just click anywhere to clear those markings. Yeah, knight comes forward, so I think we just simply take here, and we're still threatening a piece. So if you take, we just collect a pawn here. We can maybe collect a pawn here. Again, just click anywhere, clear the markings, get the cursor off the board so there's no accidental slips. Bishop goes back. So now we've got the option to simply drop back, or we could come this way and help guard this. Knight f3, pawn down. I think I just simply take though, and it seems good. The knight goes on a very natural square. If you pawn push, I'm just going to take it. If you don't, I might be able to play a move like e3 or e4. Okay, it goes across to guard. I think e3 here. Down again. I've still got the option to take, but I'm closing this diagonal down. e4 might be a little bit neater to stop the pawn push, but I'm just going to go e3. Just to try and restrict the diagonal and any potential risk there. Comes down, I've still got the option to simply take. Okay, pushes a pawn forward. Okay, I'm going to develop a rook, and we've got the potential to sack an exchange if we need to, if we need some sort of bailout. Right now I'm going to get the queen back and preparing to push through in the middle. So comes forward. So pawn up, if takes, I've simply got knight takes, if take, queen takes, pawn takes. And we're a clean piece up. So I'm just going to push. Takes, so I'm going with the knight. Okay, pushes forward. It's probably safer to take here and come across and target the pawn, or even try and take here. Probably safer to take than leave the pawn on the board. If takes, I can try and break through. Bishop back to try and trap me. So take, bishop back. I guess I can just play a move like a rook across there. Or maybe knight forward. I think I've got options. So I think I'm okay to take the pawn, so I'm going to do it. I'd expect bishop back. Then I can plant the knight forward, potentially threatening some sort of check. Okay, he's come forward. So queen up might be logical here. Knight back. Knight forward with a view to attacking the rook and a potential check if you come across. Yeah, I'm going to go forward, hit the rook and hit the pawn. I'm just going to make sure I don't get my rook trapped here somehow. Okay, the rook's gone across. So I think rook across here, just try and collect the pawn makes sense to me. So I'm going to do it. The knight covers this square. We're threatening to simply take. queen up is also potentially a good move here, just to try and get the queen off the board. Okay, rook across I think has just blundered the exchange there. Is there anything better? We could take the pawn and get rid of it now. If we win an exchange, this pawn is still there and there's nothing to actually challenge it with. So, do we do this and maybe a move like queen up? We're going to probably have to sack the exchange back. It might be better just to get rid of the pawn. I think it probably is actually better just to get rid of the pawn here. So there is an exchange. Takes, rook takes, queen up somewhere. But we're going to end up having to give an exchange back to deal with that pawn. So I'm just going to take the pawn. Just be sensible and remove the risk so there's less chance for my opponent to get a new queen. Okay, here I think I just shift somewhere. I don't think I give up a queen for 2 here though, so I assume I just go up here, solidify, and then take back with the bishop. So that's what I'm going to do. There might have been a move like rook up there and I could have just potentially come back, but obviously I should have been able to avoid a repetition moving somewhere. Okay, so just takes now. So if I take and you take, I can check, you come up, and there's a nasty check there winning the rook. So I'm going to give my opponent a chance to miss that. Very easy to miss the triangulation there. Obviously if you take your time you can spot that, but it's very easy to miss a move like that. But if you don't take, my pawn can start marching up the board. Now there's a check threat to get the rook off the board as well. Okay, and get the cursor off the board so there's no accidental slips. I think my opponent has seen it because obviously they're taking the time. Okay, the queen's come forward, so the logical move is just to simply take here. Sorry, simply check and take, then drop back. Don't want to waste any time there. We'll just get rid of the rook, guard the pawn and match the pawn up the board. I mean, I could take, and this pawn's actually more advanced in it, so yeah, let's do it that way. Take this one, it removes one of my opponent's pawns, and just queen across and march up the board. The only risk would be getting a pawn down here. So if I go here, I cover this diagonal, I can march forward, I can drop back. So that's the only real risk, get a pawn here and get the queen on this diagonal. As long as I keep that covered, I'm fine. So let's... can't move my bishop now, so there's no check, so just push the pawn. Okay, we get the win.